Hey, seventh grade. Happy going to be Wednesday morning on this short week. Let's jump right into pod, shall we? And thanks for all you guys that are making the extra effort to pay attention to these videos. I hope that you get something out of them. It's not a complete waste of time for you. We're always trying to make a better social emotional learning program. So these videos and these presentations hopefully are something that you get something out of. I know I do miss talking to you guys in person. So please keep in mind that Thursday/tomorrow. It's so weird to film this one day and talk in the present tense. We got another interim ISAT test in math coming up. We'll have that different schedule that we tried a few weeks ago. You'll have all your other classes, but not Flex 4. You won't have Flex at the end of the day. Okay. I'm just letting you know that you only have a few days of those classes left. So if you have an assignment coming up, say a original superhero story, maybe some of you guys, don't wait too much longer. Those classes are wrapping up soon, along with all of our other classes. We just have that a bit less. What else? Oh, just on your ISAT, like we tell you with all standardized tests, do your very best, but don't stress. It's kind of a near rhyme. So we want you to take it seriously, but not to cause you any anxiety. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up next week. Man, that's really flying by. Please plan on attending with your parents. That means it'll be survey time. Our surveys that we take at every trimester. You guys know how important those are for me and how seriously I take those for measuring how we're doing as a school. So watch out for those and remember to be honest and fill those out. Tuesday Tune, shout out to your student council officers who went above and beyond to make sure that we had a playlist for you guys yesterday that kind of represented everything about you. Okay, we had the spectrum of country, some Spanish music, we had some cartoon theme songs, some musicals. It was really good. Yeah, I was just really impressed with how well they did to make sure that everyone felt like they had a voice. And remember, you get to do that again in 3 weeks. So if you want to make some adjustments, talk to your representatives. Mrs. Bollinger, I wanted to steal this lesson from her. She had a good talk with her homeroom about if you don't love all the songs, how you could open yourself up to different people's taste and how that really opens yourself up to their personalities and their individual differences and idiosyncrasies and nuance. Because everyone has slightly different taste in music, but if you instantly, oh, that's not for me, there's stuff. Jojo Siwa didn't think I'd like it, but she had a pretty good message to that song. Okay. I don't know if I love SpongeBob still, but open yourself up. Okay. We just heard some people half jokingly like, oh, I don't like that song. We get you. You don't have to love everything, but be open to people's different tastes. All right. Last week we had a lockdown drill, and between you and me and the teachers, we all know that we didn't do very well in some classes. Some people did great. Okay. When we have those drills or any other drills, I fight to have those a little less than some other schools do because I don't want to make it so routine that you do it over and over again. But when they do happen, take them seriously. Okay, we're practicing for something terrible, but you really don't know if it's something terrible right then. Okay, so when you hear it, follow the procedures and make sure you listen to your teachers. Okay, next. Speaking of bad things that could happen, we tell you to be an upstander in the school, and if you see bullying, harassment, anything like that, to make sure that you try to call that out, show support for the person being mistreated. But you may not feel super comfortable telling an adult in school. We hope that you have that trusted adult in the school like we did with our Sources of Strength campaign. But if you'd rather do so anonymously, report something anonymously, here is some good information on how to do that. So if you want to jot that number down, might be a good idea just to have it. And I don't know exactly how this works, but I'm pretty sure the message does get back to us eventually, and we'll never know who it came from. So I think that's good. If you see something, don't just bottle it up. Let us know. All right. Last week's pod lesson was about the power of positive self-talk. We learned that for some reason biologically we're wired, like our brains here, to focus on negative information over positive. I think it has a little bit to do with our survival instinct. But positive self-talk can help you focus on the positive a bit more. And we'll talk about why it can be so powerful in just a second. As we wrap up this unit of our second step curriculum that we're trying out with you guys this year, Unit 3 focused on thoughts, emotions, and decisions. And I thought I'd just give you a quick list of the main things that we learned, all right? First off, emotions are important and powerful, should not be ignored. You should become more intelligent about your emotions, recognize different moods and how that impacts your thoughts. Speaking of that, when you go through this progression, this is how a lot of things happen in your brain. Okay, often, sometimes the thought comes first, but often there's a strong emotion. And this, we're going to focus on avoiding the negative ones. So if you have a strong negative emotion, okay, anger, maybe even sadness, a bitterness, whatever it might be, that leads to negative thoughts, right? And then on the end of that progression, generally comes out some negative words or negative actions, mean things that hurt people's feelings, destructive actions to property, whatever it might be. So we learn that as important as emotions are, we want to honor those. When you have a negative one, so you need to break the flow of negativity somehow. Here's some things you could do. Control that emotion first before that leads to the negative thoughts. Use breathing, counting, maybe counting backwards, walking away, whatever you need to do. Find something, become someone who can self-regulate and advocate for yourself and say, I just need a moment, breathe. Okay, you may not even have to say that, but try to control the emotion. If you're just stuck in negative thought land, reframe it. Remember, we had that lesson where it's like we pulled the shutter. We did a paradigm shift and say, yeah, there was one thing that went wrong today, but 25 went right. So maybe focus on those. And then positive self-talk, what we talked about last week. I can do this. I believe in myself. Just kind of in your brain having a good positive monologue with yourself can help stop the negative flow even really before it gets going. Okay, so in a nutshell, that was Unit 3. So the end of Unit 3 in second step actually had a little activity that you're supposed to do, kind of a wrap up, like an assignment, and I can't be there with you. Thought about having your homeroom teachers do it, but it wasn't that good anyways. But I thought we'd just review something from last year. Sixth graders had this week. Eighth graders are having something similar on Thursday. It's around Valentine's Day. It's just after. I thought we would review, and this is the exact same lesson we did last week or last year, so I'll go pretty fast. But just talking about as you prepare to have dating and romantic relationships, I say prepare because you're still a little young. I thought we'd just cruise through last week's lesson. I know you guys love talking about romantic stuff with old people like me. I always love seeing your red faces and hearing you giggle a little bit, but I can't do that. Stupid COVID and videos. But let's cruise through this, shall we? You probably don't remember, but the way I structured this is I researched some people who talk to teens about healthy dating, safe sex, all those things. And he surveyed thousands and thousands of kids. And these are some questions that they kept getting asked. And this is just my thoughts. They're my answers, his questions. But I'm not the expert in dating, certainly. But I do have I have a relationship that's lasted longer than probably any of yours romantically. It's going on 14 years now. So here's some thoughts about getting started. How old should you be? Some people say wait till you're 16. That's probably not bad, especially because that's when you can drive. So I don't know how you go on a date right now as 12 or 13-year-olds, but take it slow. Okay, if it's just hanging out with somebody at lunch, no big deal. But true dating should probably be just a little bit later. How do you ask somebody out? Just to keep it cash, okay? You don't have to make some big elaborate thing. But remember, face-to-face communication is good. And again, I'm going to go pretty fast through this because digital communication without tone or facial expression, you lose a lot. It's only 17% of communication when you text. You don't get to see that person. All right. So just don't put pressure on yourself. What if you get asked out? If you think the person is interesting at all, and you say, "What do you want to do as a date?" I want to walk over to the ranch and come back and talk for a while. If you feel comfortable with it, that's fine. Okay. If you don't, it's okay to say no. Speaking of saying yes or no, swipe left or right. That's you guys probably don't know about Tinder. Hopefully not. Choosing people. Should you only date hot people? Hot? No. Okay. Yes, you should find them a little attractive, but that's just a small piece of the puzzle. Okay. Their looks, their intelligence, their personality, how they treat you, how they treat others. Do you have similar values? So don't focus on just the hot people because sometimes hot people are mean and stupid. So whole package you need to be interested in. What if they only need to change one thing. I hope you don't have that thought, but that makes me laugh. Okay. Well, I like this guy or girl a lot, but she like stole my stuff and called my friend a terrible name. But overall they're nice. Like if they have a butt, not a butt like a rear, but if you want to change something, save that for Chip and Joanna, the fixer uppers. You should kind of like the whole thing. And if there's one big glaring problem, people don't always change that. So there's other options out there. And I think I took out a slide for brevity's sake for trying to make this fast, but okay, but shouldn't they be like cool? And I had a picture of a Napoleon Dynamite guy. I know that in high school one time I had a chance to date an interesting lady from Italy who was an exchange student, and I had some friends that I can't remember how I did it, but I'm kind of ashamed. And I just said, "What do you think about this?" And they're like, "Oh, she's not cool," or I don't even remember what they said about her. So I almost let my friends decide. It's because she wasn't in our group. But I got to know her a little bit afterwards. I didn't date her, but she was very interesting. And I missed out on that experience, just getting to know somebody from a different country. So don't worry about if they're the best looking person ever or if they're the coolest. Focus on the whole package. The limit of people I should date, if you're just hanging out with people, that's no big deal. Okay, if it's serious, it's certainly one at a time, and it's not a competition. All right, really, the answer to that could be zero. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't always have to be dating. But remember, as you move in and out of relationships or dating, clearly communicate. Be honest with people. Don't lie to them. Okay, and again, talk face to face if you can. Should you date people your own age? Yeah, probably. Okay, it's just a little bit easier. You're in high school. A year might not make the biggest difference. When you're older and you're 36 or 37, that's not a big difference. But between 13 and 14, it is a big difference. So I would stick pretty close to your age for sure. Should you date a friend, somebody that you're kind of not romantically involved with, but you're good friends? Sure, that's not a bad way to start off, but it sometimes can complicate the friendship, and you may end up losing that friendship. Is having a boyfriend or girlfriend overrated? My answer? Yeah. I couldn't find, and I think I made this joke last year. I couldn't find any pictures of my high school girlfriend that for 3 years out of the 4 I dated. But if I'd have found a picture of our prom dates, we would have looked kind of like this. We were just not. I mean, we didn't look awkward. Maybe we did. Probably look cheesy in our clothes to you guys, but we just didn't fit. And like we weren't compatible. But it just kind of happened when we were freshmen, and we were like, sure, this is fine. But by my senior year, I could find this picture. It's from the yearbook. We were in a talent contest singing a Destiny's Child song or lip syncing. Yeah, I don't know if I look very cool. Thinner, that's for sure. A little bit more hair. But I'm just telling you, without girlfriends or boyfriends, high school was can be more fun. Middle school can be more fun. Yeah, you can focus on being a kid and not all the pressure. So if you think, I haven't dated yet, that's fine. Okay, don't be in a rush for sure. Speaking of rush, slowing it down, relationships. How do you know if it's serious? There's no messengers involved. Hey, tell Bob that a true close relationship is just you and them. You don't have to have all these in between people, and you know each other and you trust each other. When is a relationship too serious? Anytime, because relationships are based on partnerships. Anytime that you feel a little uncomfortable, then it's getting too serious. All right. What if you get dumped? It sucks. It happens to a lot of people. It probably will happen to you, but you are still awesome, and you can move on. And I tell the story about my high school basketball player when I was coaching, and she said, "I don't know what to do. I'm really in a funk," and she was playing really poorly. I said, "What's happening?" I got dumped by my boyfriend. I said, "I didn't even know you're dating anybody. We were in a tiny school. Oh, only for about a week." And I remember thinking, like, well, I know how you can move on. Just like think about how you were on 8 days ago, and you'll be fine. But yes, it happens. You'll be fine. How can I tell if I'm in a good relationship or a bad? This is where I have to go pretty fast. There's a big chart about good or bad, but you guys are nice to each other. There's no dishonesty. It's open communication. There's apologies if someone messes up. There's not grudges. Partners retain their individuality. Not one person is control. You don't think, hey, I have to act just like this person. Disagreement on not what should we get from the ranch, but like big things, okay? And that'll be more relevant the older you get. Never any fear or intimidation or coercion or pressure of any kind. That's not a healthy relationship. Again, honesty and trust. And if you don't want to hold their hand or you don't want to do anything and they pressure you, that's not an okay relationship. All right. The S word. Oh, here's our awkward part. It's not that awkward though. I'm going to talk a little bit about sex and we'll wrap this thing up. How much physical intimacy is too much? That whenever you're uncomfortable or feel guilty, then it's not okay. Hey, and I would encourage you to set those standards before. What if I think the other person really wants to do more? Too bad. Okay, that's not okay. You need to communicate, and if you need to tell them aggressively no, and they won't listen, then keep telling them. Hey, you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. And well, everyone else is doing it, talking about sex. Actually, here's a statistic for you: 3.7 of all young people in America have sex before the age of 14. That's not most people. That's not even close. Okay. And some of you, you're not even 14 yet. So when people tell you that, it's a lie. It's a lie in middle school and it's a lie in high school. All right. And when can you tell you're ready for sex? Well, when you're ready for these consequences: a life-changing pregnancy, a 3 life-changing pregnancy, the baby, the mom and dad's, everything's different and harder. And doesn't mean it's over and ruins your life, but it's going to make it more complicated for sure. You have some diseases they have to watch out for. And I took out one slide that was a quote from one of my favorite books. But I'll just tell you that even if those things don't happen, those sort of medical consequences that can come from sex, there's emotional consequences. It's a very adult relationship meant for committed relationships. It's a very serious act. And so when you do that and you're not ready for it, it can mess with you for sure. Okay. Final thoughts. Sean Covey reminds you it's great to have some casual fun when you're young, but don't make them your center. Okay. Remember that we want to have principles or values in the center. We don't want to have one thing overtake our life. And you know people that do that sometimes. So watch out for that. As for me, what should you do about dating? Just do it. Do the way you want to do for the most part, as long as it's healthy. Don't be in a rush. Should be about fun, never about pressure. And gosh darn it, please keep your parents in the loop. Okay, that's just a plea from a parent. My oldest is only 8, and we have not had to worry about dating yet, but we will at some point. And I just hope she's honest with me because it can be fun, but it can also be devastating when it goes poorly. Okay, so there's some quick review over healthy dating around these Valentines. As long as you're kind and respectful and you're good at setting your own boundaries and saying clearly, I'm okay with this, but not that. Teen dating should be pretty fun for you guys. So this is Mr. Schaefer signing off. I need like a catchphrase at the end. That one's not great, but I'll work on it. See you guys.